Hello, and welcome to the Calhoun Communications show on Rock Your Block. I'm your host, Dionne Calhoun, along with my guest co-host, Corlina Willis. Today, you're in for a special treat as we have 4 amazing women on the DC scene who will share their journey on the road to success, all while serving within their community. Our first guests are Diamond Shelton, owner of Key to Impressions, a brand imaging and wardrobe styling boutique. She's a radio personality of the Fashion Report on Radio 1, a motivational speaker, mentor, and creator of the Fashion Meets Health Foundation Expo. We also have with us Mari Cofield, President and CEO of DM Consulting LLC, which specializes in hiring professionals in the industry of administration, government contracting, communications and marketing, IT, and health. Welcome to the show, Diamond and Mari.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yes. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. So, Diamond,
yes.
You have so much going on right now.
Yes.
Fashion, your own boutique, video shoots, commercials. You have your own nonprofit. Did you always know that that was the road that you wanted to go on to, the road to entrepreneurship?
Well, I came from a family of entrepreneurs. My aunt, Doris Clark, actually owned the first African-American boutique, well, not boutique, but hair salon and school in Washington, D.C. So I was always down there at the school as a little kid, moving around and running errands and sitting in on the classes and, getting thrown out. But, it is. My dad has always owned businesses from car lots to pager places. He just had a lot. He had several hair salons that he owned as well. So I came from a line, and also my mom. So my mom was an entrepreneur. No one in my family never worked a 9 to 5. So.
Wonderful. And Marie, so you served as a government contractor for 10 years.
Yes.
So how was that push making that transition to then starting your own?
Well, it took some time, but I would say it really boiled down to planning. I wanted to be an entrepreneur for a while, and one day I just said, you know what, let me plan this out, let me financially make sure everything is in order, and then just take that leap. So it took planning. I would say preparation is key, but then after that, you just follow the steps to your plan, and here I am.
Yeah.
So with that leap, would you call that a calculated risk?
Definitely. I think that calculated risks are fine. I think that risk in general can lead to great rewards. I think that you just have to figure out what type of risk you want to take. And then again, it's about the planning and then executing that plan.
Yeah, and that's a true statement, because with myself, I've always been in the IT field. When I left school, before I even left school, I always looked at computers. Oh my goodness, this is so intriguing. Let me find out what I can do with it. When I graduated from school, I actually didn't go into the beauty industry right away. I actually went into the telecommunications IT field. So I was with some of the major defense agencies, Northrop Grumman, General Dynamics, for over, I'm not going to tell you because that'd be telling my age, but with that being said, it's always been a passion to make people feel good and make them look good. And when you're looking good, you definitely feeling good, So,
and that's my next question. For a woman that wants to walk into a room, own her space, and know that she has it. So how do you build that confidence within a woman to go in that room and really, really own her spot?
Well, with myself and my clients, and a lot of them will ding in and say, Diamond knows us. And that's what you have to do. In order to style someone, you have to know about them. You can't use a mode that you use for client A for client B. You have to know what they do in their free time, what they like to do, and what surrounds them. So you have to actually style that person for their particular look, what they want to achieve. So you have to know your clients. And some people, or some ladies, and we do dress men as well, but for some ladies, some of the issues are within. They have had so many different people say, oh, you can't do this or you shouldn't do that. With us at Key to Impressions, we actually give you the key to impress. So we go deeper. You know, when you enter into our DC location, at the door it says you come in as clients, but you leave as friends.
Right.
And we
Right,
really
right.
practice that method. Whereas though we talk to our clients, we make sure that they're okay mentally, because sometimes you can put something on the shell, but if you haven't took care of what's underneath the shell, no matter how good you make them look, they still is going to feel as though they're not looking
That
good.
says a lot to
It does.
character and then also relationship building,
Yes.
which is so key. In order to build those relationships, you also want to maintain those relationships
Correct.
too.
Absolutely.
And that also goes into the mentoring piece
Yeah.
with young ladies that do come into the shop that actually have other issues that impact them. So can you two go into mentoring and how you're able to actually impact women through the services that you offer?
You want to go first? Sure.
Sure. I think that young women, especially in the Washington, D.C. area, need mentors. I think when they see women who have walked similar paths, and I mean going to D.C. public schools, for instance, graduating and then starting businesses, I feel like when younger women see that, they see themselves in us, and they're able to look at us and say, you know what, we can do this, we can be them, we can become entrepreneurs as well. And I think us reaching back and being visible is very, very impactful as well.
Yeah, and with me, I always practiced and let them know you have a voice.
Yes,
Be your own advocate.
definitely.
Know, and not to bring up bad issues, but with the Baltimore kids, when they riot, I wasn't happy that they tore their city up, but they did something. And if they had mentors and other people in their lives to show them the proper way of protesting, the proper way of doing things, I always say learn something new every day or your day was wasted. So that means you have to plant yourself in your community to make a difference. And if your community, if you feel as though if it's no need right there, go to the community over. It's a child out here that needs help. Not only do I mentor little girls, but I mentor boys as well. I've been in the Woodridge community here in DC for over about 13 years, teaching etiquette to our young men and our young ladies, because both need it. Not only our young females, but our males need it as well too.
Absolutely.
That's very true.
Absolutely. Marie, what would you say to a young lady that wants to start her own business but doesn't know where to start, and she just needs that push, she needs that boost, and she just needs some guidance?
I would say, depending on what industry she's in, or what industry that she's interested in, I would say it's good sometimes to research the industry, number one. And number two, I would say see if she can find a niche that's not being met. I think for some of the younger entrepreneurs that are very successful, they've taken advantage of the marketplace by offering a service that isn't being provided, that a lot of people need. So I would say, for one, she should definitely research the industry that she wants to go into, and then two, if she sees any gaps in that industry that can be fulfilled by a service that she can provide, definitely horn in and focus on that, because when you're in a marketplace and you're the only one doing something, or you are the first person doing something, you have an advantage over everybody else, and you can move forward from that point on.
And can you tell us a little bit more of what DM Consulting is all about?
Oh, sure. It's actually a consulting firm, and like you stated in the beginning of the show, we have government contracts, and so we hire professionals that work in a variety of different fields, again, from IT, government contracting. We just won a contract for instructors, so we have some educators on board, also administrative assistants, and let's see, we have some medical staff on board as well. So we basically write proposals for government, state, and local contracts, also the private entity as well. And if we're successful, we win them, and then once we win them, we start bringing on board staff and hiring people for typically their long-term contracts.
So what are some of your greatest challenges in obtaining a government contract?
The challenges are there's a lot of competition. So typically when we go in and write our proposals, we have to do a lot of market research on the pricing, the different economic factors. We have to make sure that we are competing on the level with all of the other businesses when it comes to the services that we can provide. So I would say just doing our research, basically, doing the market research, writing the proposals, coming up with a pricing schedule that is not too high, not too low. We have to basically kind of be right there in the middle to be competitive. So I would say looking at the competition, well, we don't really know what the competition is doing, but having an idea of what the proposal price would be, what the technical requirements are, et cetera, and then just basically writing the proposal and seeing what happens.
So what advice can you give someone who's completely new to this and they're starting out from scratch in terms of getting into developing a consulting firm and then also getting to write the proposals?
I would say, again, research. I think that if somebody is interested in this field, first and foremost, I mean, thankfully we had Google. We have Google now. In the past, it was like the encyclopedia, et cetera. But I would say definitely. I know, like back in the day.
Right.
But I would definitely say research. Get online. Look at some consulting firms. Look at some of the services they're offering. Look at industries that you may be interested in providing services to, and then from that point, develop a business plan. I think some entrepreneurs don't do business plan. It kind of depends on their,
Right.
And myself, it took me a while. I actually started my business, and then maybe like a couple of months later, I said, you know what, I really need to tackle this business plan.
Absolutely.
And it's okay. It doesn't have to be overly complicated. It just depends on what industry you're in. But I would say, in reference to someone starting, the research, number one, developing a business plan, and then realizing that it takes time. It's not something that you get into
overnight.
But at the same time, with anything, you work towards success. You work towards what your goals and what you want to achieve in life. And I think that I could submit 100 proposals and only win like 2 awards. But the fact that I won those 2 outweighs that I submitted those 100 proposals.
Well, do you need a business plan?
For a consulting firm, I would say, it depends on the service. I would say for us, yes, because of the service that we provide, we want to look at what our revenue would be. We want to look at what type of financing we may need. We want to look at, do we actually need financing, or do we have enough ourselves to just say, let's start this, we're going to invest in ourselves, we're going to take our own money and do X, Y, Z. So I think when it comes down to the profit margins, it's important, because you can have a great idea and you can run with it, but then when it comes to actually compensation for that idea, if you haven't sat down and mapped out a plan as to how you're going to be compensated and what your profit margins need to look like, you'll have a fabulous idea, but you won't necessarily be financially in the place that you want to be. So I would say, again, some people they feel like business plans are just overwhelming, but I think you can do a quick 2-page business plan. Like I said, it depends on what industry you're in. Right, so you get that.
Do you offer that guidance though?
Yeah.
For business writing plans?
Most definitely. It's interesting because I have a friend who is a stylist, and she said, do you think I need a business plan? I said, you know what? You are so amazing. Like, you dress really well. I think the people you style always look amazing. But she was basically saying that she wasn't able to meet her bottom line. She wasn't able to break even. So I said a business plan will help with that. So yeah, and I actually helped her with her business plan. So most definitely.
So Diamond, you also have your nonprofit.
Yes, I do.
Fashion Meets Health.
Yes.
So tell us about this. It's so important for us to focus on health and wellness.
Yes,
So
it
how
is.
does fashion meet health?
Well, several different ways. Well, the reason why I came up, let me start by that. The reason why I came up with Fashion Meets Health, my mom was in the hair business, my dad was in, which is the fashion business, and my dad was in, more of the ongoing business. So he got sick, and we wondered why. So, and both of my parents are deceased, and they passed away from cancer. But if you know early and you detect early, your chances of living is greater. So one of the reasons why I came up with Fashion Meets Health is because I wanted to show people through fashion you can become healthy. And if you go to the gym, and I always use this example, if you go to the gym and you have these big, ugly clothes on, that's how you're gonna feel. You're not gonna feel like getting on the treadmill. You're not gonna even feel like going through the door. But if you spend $10, $30, which, you know, we spend that on lunch, and you go to the gym and you have your new little outfit on, you all ready, you're going to go into the gym with a different attitude. So what we do is with Fashion Meets Health, we have experts from the health industry and also experts from the fashion industry come out and show you different ways of becoming healthy. We have speakers, we have programs. In addition to that, we give away free memberships to different gyms.
Oh, I got to talk to you.
Yeah, so y'all come out to Fashion Meets Health Foundation. We actually put it on 3 times a year here in the Metropolitan Area, but we also do it in different states as well. So in 2017, we're taking it to Philadelphia.
Nice.
And in addition to that, we're going to have the next one happening here in D.C. on April the 23rd, 2017, and we're also going to Miami.
And if folks who are watching want to learn more about this, how do they get in contact with you?
You guys can actually email me at info@fashionmeetshealth.com, or you can actually call us at 301-202-4524. So come out, we're looking for different vendors. We want very unique vendors, vendors that's stationed or surrounding themselves about knowledge. Because if your finances aren't in order, it's unhealthy for you.
That's true.
If you're stressed, it's unhealthy for you. It's different elements that you can perform on yourself that can actually relieve stress. Tension headaches, you take your fingers, go right here. You don't need the medicines. I mean, a lot of people, that's the first thing we do. Where's my Tylenol? Where's my Advil? Where's the pills at? But you really don't need it. It's a lot of different healthy, natural ways that you can get rid of different elements. And we show you at Fashion Meets Health what they're all about.
Diamond, tell us about the image workshops that you're providing in the community and what type of impact that's having.
Well, we're actually going into our local school systems. We're actually going into our churches. And I want to go into the community centers as well. And we're actually bringing out members from ages 14 on up and actually teaching them etiquette classes and also the impact that it's making. I'm seeing a difference. I'm seeing a change in the people. A lot of people that come to the workshop, we start the workshop off with a questionnaire, whereas though we can actually tailor the workshop towards the people that's actually in the room. Most of the time when you go to workshops, they already have their diagram already out, what they're going to cover. But sometimes it doesn't apply to the people that's actually in the room. So we start off with a questionnaire, and it starts off with the Q&A at the beginning versus at the end. And people have questions. They want to know. We have some moms that want to rejoin the workforce. We show them the proper way of rejoining the workforce and having an image, a custom image that's specifically for you, not for everyone else, because all of us on the panel right here is African American women, and we all may be around the same age, but my dress and what I do may be different from you, may be different from you. So that's what we want to actually build upon. We want to build and empower women and show them not only beauty starts from within, and once it's conquered within, it shows on the outside. So that's what we're doing, and we're making a change. We're one person at a time.
Diamond and Mari, we want to thank you for being on the show, and we want to welcome you back as well.
Of course,
thank you so
anytime.
much. I hope you learned a lot today.
We did.
Yes.
We're going to take a short break, but we'll be back with 2 new guests, Cherrye Jeter, creator and founder of Serene Cre'me, and Sherese Renee Seevers, Realtor of Exit Realty and motivational speaker. We'll be back after these important announcements. Stay tuned.
We are this close.
We're this close.
We are this close. Of wanting to
making history. This close to changing the world.
We're this close.
This close to making sure no child suffers a crippling disease
ever again. This close.
We are this close to ending polio.
Ending polio.
All we need is you.
This close.
If we don't act now, we may lose this chance forever. Help Rotary make history at endpolionow.org.
You are watching the Calhoun Communications Show on Rock Your Block with our special guest, Cherrye Jeter, creator and founder of Serene Cre'me, and Sherese Renee Seevers, motivational speaker and Realtor of Exit Realty. Serene Cre'me was born from Cherrye's search of natural products to treat her daughter's eczema. She then sought out the best selection of natural oils and butters to nourish the skin. And that way, Serene Cre'me comes to life. Sherese Renee Seevers serves as the Director of Operations with Exit Realty in DC. She works with agents on business planning and mindset training. She works with investor clients to close real estate transactions, but her passion lies in building the Sherese Speaks brand and publishing her new book. Welcome.
Thank you for
Cherrye
having
and
us.
Sherese. Thank you for joining the show. So Cherrye, you just launched your new business, but I wanted to ask a question about the motivation behind, because you have a story, and I think motivation is always our drive to start something.
Yes. So I've been doing Serene Cre'me for about 5 years now. Prior to that, and actually overlapping that time frame, I was in the school system for the past 15 years. And as a school teacher and then administrator, wellness is a huge part of your everyday life, even when you don't realize it. You're responsible for the well-being and wellness of the students in your class, and that's a holistic view. You know, you have to look at, are they physically okay and nutritionally okay, and are they learning, and how's their family situations. And that one teacher is responsible for 20 students. And then you have to consider, is that teacher okay? You know, they have these domains in their life that they have to, you know, feed, they have to water in order for them to be okay. And then as an administrator, you look at the big picture, you're responsible for so many people and their overall wellness, because it all trickles down. If the teacher's not well, then the students aren't well. So I began to just do a lot of things self-care wise, and then as a part of staff development, I would, you know, encourage my teachers. Like a big chunk of our staff development was about personal wellness. So as that evolved, I was making this cream, like you said, for my daughter, and I gifted it for Christmas. You know, when I would bring it to work, people would always use it, and oh, let me buy some, and okay, you know, let's see how this goes. And then when I gifted it for Christmas, I gifted it to Lisa Logan in New York, who owns a nail salon and is a celebrity manicurist. So she was giving it to different celebrities, and you know, as time went on, it became, you know, successful. And then at some point in my career, I realized that I myself wasn't well. Like, I was trying to take care of this big community of people, but you know, policies within the school system I didn't agree with them, I didn't align with them, I was always clashing with them. So in my efforts to protect other people and children, I was kind of sacrificing myself. And I realized my family was suffering, so my personal and familial wellness was suffering. And eventually I had to make a decision to break away. And, you know, I always had an entrepreneurial spirit. You guys remember me from high school. You know how it goes. Yes. So it was one of those things where I felt like I had to jump out there and, you know, give it a shot.
So what are some of the products that you sell at your store, and then also how do you come up with new product development?
Yeah, so right now I have a product line of 5 products, a whipped body butter, sugar scrub, lip balm, lip buff, and the soy body candle. I'm working on 2 other products, a rose water, and a rose water, and I mean, I have several floating in my head, but I want to do, I think, a soap I'm leaning towards, but that's a heck of a project. But I come up with it based on necessity, like, you know, what is it that I use? And I want to kind of move towards minimalism, so we don't need like a lot of products, but I just want like key products in my collection that everybody can use, that works, you know, from the baby to dad. And it's just, you know, moisturizing and good for the skin and environment. I'm big on sustainability, so everything is in glass and recycle programs and that type of stuff.
Wonderful.
So, Sherese, you have a lot going on. But before we get into everything that you have going on, how did you get into the real estate industry?
I was working at a job that, it was a pretty good job, but it wasn't fulfilling. Overworked, underpaid, the story that a lot of us have. And I decided that I wanted to take my real estate course, took it, passed it, talked to my husband at the time, told him I wanted to go all in. So I quit my job, and that was almost 10 years ago. So I guess the rest, as they say, is history.
We oftentimes talk about game changers on social media. That is, you going in and you making your mark in the world, right? So what type of game-changing experiences do you guys have? I know you have been credited with making the biggest transaction in the company for Exit Realty, but what other stories can you give our viewers about game changer?
For me, game changing, I'm very passionate about public speaking, and that is something that kind of was a spin-off from my real estate career. So I went to a very great training with my real estate company, Exit Realty. I'm a part of Exit Elite Realty, locally based in DC, Fort Washington, and Lanham. But I went to the training. It was amazing. It taught me how to be a confident speaker. So I went to that, and I was in it with my regional owner. I said to him, hey, I want to speak at this. Well, I actually said, I'm going to speak at this because, you know, we have to be very careful of the words that we use. And I spoke at that, and then from that, I said, I'm going to speak at our national convention. I spoke at that. And from that stage, I said, I'm going to be invited back eventually as a keynote speaker. And that was very bold. But the very next day, our founder and CEO actually invited me back as a keynote speaker. So I'm very, very into using affirmations to change the game.
Cherrye and Sherese, thank you for coming on the show, and we love to have you back on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
I want to thank our viewers who are tracking us in 40 states across America. I hope that this powerful panel of women inspired you on your road to success. We are so grateful, and we will continue to work hard to bring you great shows to educate and to inform you. Tune in next week to another great segment on Rock Your Block. Bye, folks.